Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find
Hello and welcome to today's fabulous episode of X-Rad Live, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xander Network, live from an undisclosed location. Alright, you guessed it. It's Michelle Obama's Legal Interference Center in Chicago. Some of you will get that. I'm Xander Gibb, and on today's show I get on my soapbox just for a change and give you the chance to get on yours and our phone in. Don't phone now, we'll let you know when to do that. Singer Jason Prince joins by. And CV Berton from Freedom on Deck. I have the wrong teeth in today, I'm breaking them in for Jussie Smollett. Joins us, let me say that again. CV Berton from Freedom on Deck joins us to break down this week's hottest topics. You can have your say in the feed below, or to the left, or the right, or above, wherever it might be for you. And as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go along. As I said, you can call in when we get to that segment. It is along the top of the screen. 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. That's if you're in the United States. But if you're in the UK, you can contact us via Facebook Live Messenger. Oh, yes, sir. I will, of course, be joining Joe Messina on the real side at 6 Pacific. You can also follow me on social media anywhere but Twitter, because Jack is an anti-American socialist with a penchant for Chick-fil-A. Oh, yes, sirree. So let's come to the live feed and go backwards as usual and say hello to everybody. Hello to Robert. Hi to chat. Welcome. Hello to Roger. Hello to CV, who is my guest later on. Hello to Kate. Hello to Fiona. Hello to Catherine. I hope you ladies are having a wonderful time on your ladies' retreat. Be good and don't do anything I wouldn't. It gives you a lot of scope. Hello to Martha. Hello to Andy. Hello to, who else? Ryan. Hello to Nick. Welcome to the show, Nick. Hello to Sonia. Welcome. I hope you're being good, Sonia, at your little retreat festival that you've got going on. Hello to, I don't know if that's everybody. Hello to everybody that's watching, but is not actually in the live feed. Feel free to come and join us. And press that share button now. Oh, yes, sirree. So there's a few things I wanted to tell you. I've had 20 emails tonight while I was getting ready, while I was in makeup, and I couldn't respond to any of them. About Theresa May with regards to Brexit, she tried to put it through again tonight, and apparently the deal failed. I wonder why. The deal is so terrible. For those of you that don't know, basically the reason the deal is bad is that she wants us to leave the EU. She wants Britain to leave the EU, but to have everything kind of basically stay the same and not restore the UK sovereignty. Now, currently in the UK, what will be happening after tonight is that they will leave the EU on April 12th with no deal. That's if nothing happens in the interim to change that. But it's just kind of ridiculous. She keeps repackaging this deal that she supposedly come up with, but really it's not a deal. It's what the EU have said that they're kind of like prepared to do. But for me, the UK holds all the cards in this. Hi to Sean, welcome to the show. And if they don't take control now, what is going to happen is that Britain is probably not going to leave the EU. and the will of the people is being ignored once again. So we'll talk about that later on in the show too. Now, what was that with the Pope this week? I don't know how many out there of you are Catholics, but apparently the Pope, there's a tradition, you Catholics out there will know about this, where you get the opportunity to kiss the Pope's ring. Now, he wasn't having any of that at his latest, I was going to say gig, but it's not really a gig when you're the Pope, is it? He was refusing to let people kiss his ring, and it's so unlike a Catholic priest not to, allow his ring to be kissed. But it's kind of, it was worrying. It really was. But it was funny to watch the Pope kind of pulling his hand away at every opportunity. And the select few that did get to kiss his ring, it was kind of, it was funny, really, to see him kind of, pulling away his hand. To those that were not elite enough, maybe they didn't come from the right section of Catholicism to be able to kiss his ring. We will be talking about somebody that is another kind of kisser that we can't say on the show, and that's Jussie Smollett. We'll be talking about him later because I know I've been getting some emails about him, and everybody seems a little PI-double-S about him, and quite rightly so, so I'll be discussing that with CV later on. Now, we've got an award to give on the show tonight, and the award is the Democrat Criminal of the Week. We really need like a sound bite for that. Yes, I agree, Ryan. Francis is a total fraud. So the award for Democrat Criminal of the Week goes to, are you ready for this? I need a drum roll. Where's the drum? You see, I'm going to fire the producer. There's supposed to be a drum ready to give this drum roll. Not really, I'm just joking. So the Democrat Criminal of the Week is Kim Foxx, Mike Obama's Miss Fix-It. And if you're in the know, you'll know about that too as well. Let me come back to the live feed. Oh, yes, Sri. I agree with Ryan. The current Pope is a bit of a Nazi, and he kind of, he's a bit of a flip-flopper too. He goes from one thing to another, and really can't make his mind up. I don't know why the video is stopping for you, Nick. Maybe it's your internet. Chet says Kim Foxx, good pick. Yeah, absolutely. I think she was a perfect pick. I'm going to start taking some calls now. It's time for you to get on your soapbox. Do you want to comment on Kim Foxx? Do you want to comment on Jussie Smollett? Do you want to comment on kissing the Pope's ring? Or the fact that Theresa May is the worst conservative on the planet? I have to say, it's really difficult for me, being a conservative, living in a country where I cannot support the Conservative Party. But its current leadership, they're more like liberals. They really are. So call us now. Tell us what you think. 845. Would like to call back. It should do now because I've just refreshed the Skype. I don't know what it is about Skype, but it has this propensity to do what it's not supposed to do. Oh, yes, sirree. Hello, my Gina. Welcome to the show. I hope you are good. I think that was maybe Chet calling. If you'd like to call back, Chet, it's all refreshed now. If you'd like to give us a call, what's the number? 845-363-4747. That's 845-363. Hello, you live on X-Rad Live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, it's Chet calling back refreshed on the feed for you, Zan.
Yeah, sorry about that. The Skype is very temperamental. I don't know why it does it on the computer. But there you go. So what's got your goat this week? What are you calling us to get off your chest, as it were?
I like the contest for Democrat Dog of the Week. That's great. And I think that this woman, Miss Fox, was a great pick. You know that close to a month ago, she was supposed to recuse herself from this case.
Yeah, I read
with
that.
Jussie Smollett, and she didn't. And her answer for it, it's amazing. It's amazing. They're asking her this last night on CBS News. And I'm saying to myself, why are they asking her this now? You know, It's so bizarre. Listen, I'm going to tell you, Xander, this case is so weird. Think about this. Jussie Smollett did his community service at Jesse High Jackson's his Rainbow Coalition in their building, stuffing envelopes or whatever else he was stuffing. But that's besides the point. And
that's for another show.
And that's besides the point that he was with Jesse High Jackson. Why was he doing community service before he had ever seen his day in court or had been prosecuted?
Right.
What's that about?
Yeah.
So right there from the get-go, you can see this thing is dirty.
Yeah. I want to just rewind just a little bit. I just want to kind of talk about connections. I'm going to talk about this in more depth with CV, but it's kind of weird, isn't it, that apparently Kamala legs up Harris is his aunt, and also he's got connections to the Obamas through Kim Foxx, because apparently Kim Foxx has some connection to the Obamas. But the concern for me is, I'm not a lawyer, but I would hope that anybody involved in any case would be able to look like they have clean hands, unlike the Pope, and not have an appearance of impropriety, because when there is an appearance of impropriety, it's usually indicative of the fact that there is impropriety, right?
Well, it also shows that there was collusion with the case.
Yeah.
If this woman had gotten orders from the higher-up to get Jussie Smollett off, because the optics weren't good for the Democrats. You had this guy, it was the perfect story. You remember 2 months ago when this broke, they were like, oh my God, can you believe this? This would happen in Chicago with the and we're all like, no, we don't believe it.
No.
It's like me, if I was in Alabama visiting my son, oh, these guys came up, they beat me, they said this is Obama country.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then as the story unfolded and the police came forward and said he's lying, they kept trying to hold on until they couldn't. Then they swept the story under the rug. You weren't hearing about it. And now all of a sudden, it's like Groundhog's Day. You're seeing Jussie Smollett all over social media, wherever else you turn. It's all Jussie. And I find it interesting that it happened the day after President Trump was exonerated. That was done by design.
Yeah, it's called smokescreen. But let me ask you this question. I might be wrong, but aren't you a Catholic?
No, I'm not.
You're not. Oh, I thought you were for some reason.
I'm,
What do you make about this? It's kind of like the Pope's ring kissing lottery, but only certain people got to kiss his ring. Did you see the video of that? It was kind of comical the way he was pulling his hand away from people, because for Catholics it's supposed to be Martha's saying she's a Catholic in the live feed. It's supposed to be kind of like a rite of passage. Is that an appropriate phrase when you're talking about kissing the Pope's ring? But it just the video was just so funny, the way he was like pulling his hand away.
Well, did you see recently when he sat down with the supreme leader in Iran?
No, I didn't.
This is I just shared it today. It's recent that he went. I don't know exactly what day, but it was recent. And he was basically saying, what he said was in his statement was that the Muslim and Catholic faith are basically the same. This is what he said.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. And then he said that their vision of God is the same as the vision of God for the Catholics, which is just the sickest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, because
this guy is nuts.
Because apart from the IRA, you don't hear of groups of Catholics going on bombing and stuff like that. I mean, not for at least 25 years.
And the other thing is, Xander, you know damn well the Ayatollah in Iran isn't saying that.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And the fact is that this guy is a pure communist socialist that's trying to push an agenda. And the reason they do it with Islam is because Islam is a political ideology that forces, and it does coincide with basically communism. They're in the same field.
I definitely don't want religious leaders commenting on politics, just like I don't really want to hear about politicians talking about religion, because for me, you kind of stick to the job that God has given you. But the concern for me with this Pope is he's such a flip-flopper. 1 minute he loves the gays, then 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 they're not God's best, and the worry for me is, pick a subtext, Popey, and stick with it. I don't want to be irreverent towards this guy, and I don't want to be rude towards him, because he is a religious leader, but he's a commie, and he should leave his communism at the door. Would you not agree?
Well, I agree. He's a communist, and the fact of the matter is, you said you don't really want to hear religious leaders talk politics, and nobody does. But if it was a Freudian slip that the Pope had made once, fine. Twice, okay. But it's every day with this guy.
It's continual.
He's talking about, he's talking about global warming. He's a devout communist. It's obvious.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt he has liberal leanings, and I think that it concerns me when kind of politics are entered into the pulpit. I've heard preachers talk before about and draw parallels, but it's not a preacher of any religion's job to actually try and influence people one way or another politically. That is a concern for me. I don't think God. I think God is apolitical. I'm sure he's a Republican, but all joking aside, I'm sure that God is apolitical. I don't speak for God, but the concern for me is that these people that claim to speak for God are making this level of commentary that's quite concerning, and I wonder who's paying him to say these things, because I'm not really sure he believes them. Because the thing is that you come on the show quite regularly. You know where I stand on most issues. I don't change every single week with regards to what I think or feel or support. There's a little bit of give, but I don't change it every single week. And that is indicative to me of the fact that he doesn't really believe what he's saying.
Well, it's also indicative of the fact that he's definitely got handlers, right? I mean, there's some things he says, and then they'll come to him and tell him, walk that back. And I think that's why you see that happening, Xander. Before I go, though, I saw Gina say it was amazing that he was able to hold his Subway sandwich the whole time.
Yeah, I thought that was quite hilarious. I didn't want to interrupt you mid-sentence. But before you do go, tell us, as well as getting a free advert for Subway, you're welcome. Tell us who's on the show this weekend. I hear you've got someone that's an internationally renowned political commentator.
A gentleman he's pretty good. He's okay. We've had him on before. People say they like him. It's X-Rad. It's X-Rad.
Hemorrhoid Live. Yeah, he's a host of that show, I think.
Yes, Xander Gibb's going to be on with us. Actually, we have this really interesting guest. Her name's Yasmin Abdullah Flyers, and you may be friends with her, actually. And she is a Christian that converted from being a Muslim, and her story is pretty frightening. She grew up in the United States of America out in San Diego and had a gun held to her head by her own father when she converted to Christianity. And that's something we have to talk about in this country. You would think that's a story out of Afghanistan.
You would.
But it's not.
You absolutely would.
It's in California, so
absolutely.
That's really important. And, I just want to say to your listeners that freedomondeck.com looks really great. We're doing wonderful things there. There's the midweek podcast, which is FOD Overdrive. You're going to be on it plenty of times, I'm sure. And Thomas Schmitz was on with us today, and we're going to have contributions from both of you gentlemen and other people. And it's really becoming a fun place. We've got a meme generator. We've got different things going on. And I'd like everybody to go check it out.
Absolutely. Go check it out. freedomondeck.com, and check them out this Sunday, 3 till 5. Thank you so much for calling in, Chet. I will speak to you very soon, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Now it's time for my first guest. His name is Jason Prince. I say he's a guest, but he's actually more like family on the show. He worked on my TV show in New York, Xandermonium. He's been the entertainment editor on this show. And he's also, he's actually a master of so many things. He's also a producer and a singer, and all of these other things. And he's British, but he's got some really interesting American related news for you over there. I was going to do a British accent then for an American topic, but let's get him on the phone now, live from London, the capital of England. Mr. Jason Prince, who should be ready, willing, and able to answer the phone. Hello. Let me call you back because it's not very good. It's a bad. I'm just gonna call Jason back because that was a pretty. It sounded like he was a Dalek. Exterminate. Hello, Mr. Jason. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, you're coming through very Dalek-y. I don't know what's happening.
Right, 222. Is that better?
No, it's really kind of no. There's like so much feedback.
I'll tell you what it is now. Is that any better?
No, it's still very it's still, we're getting loads of feedback here.
Right, can I call you back?
Let me just, right, well, Jason's going to call us right back. I'm sure we'll be talking a bit about Brexit with Jason too. I think everybody's sick to death of him. Hello.
Check test 2. How's
Yes,
that sounding?
that's brilliant. That's great. How are you? How is the world?
Great, apart from I'm useless at technology, Xander. You know
Oh, God, I'm the same. But I don't get this. You're an amazing producer. Do you think that it's the production stuff is kind of different? Because I can produce for the show and I can produce for live. But when it comes to actually getting in the studio and producing to do a song, it's a world apart, isn't it?
Well, for me, yeah, I'm a hands-on producer, and I used to mimic the sounds that I wanted on the record. When I first used to be a producer with James Hurr, when we did our Klubkidz remixes, I used to mimic what I would like the record to sound like, each layer, and then he'd find the suitable sound and layer to fit the impersonation I was doing with my voice.
Right.
So I've never had the technical ability with computers, etc. When I first ever went into the studio as a singer years ago, of course, we all know, we used to record on those big analog 24 tracks.
Those big thick tapes that they used to use.
That's right, and it seemed to make sense because you'd have a big mixer desk and you'd move things. It worked in my brain. And since it went digital, there's a little part in Jason Prince's brain that is uncyberable.
I totally get it. I haven't bought a mixer for 15 years. I bought one recently because we're starting to do some more stuff with the show. And I'm not kidding you, it was so small, I couldn't even work out how to get the reverb on. And everything's just become so complex. But apparently the complexity of it is that it actually makes it simple. But I don't get that. You know, like you, I'm old school. And I mean that with the greatest of respect. So I kind of want to see the big clunky buttons because I know where they work. But when it's digitalized, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
You're exactly the same as me, Xander. And the more they simplify it, the harder it seems to become for me because that part of my brain doesn't work, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I totally get where you're coming from, which is a great lead into one of the things I want to ask you about. So we were lucky enough to kind of debut, to be one of the shows that was debuting Rosala's new single "Turn on the Light," which you co-wrote. I absolutely love, and it's great to see Rosala out there again. Now, didn't she enter the charts today, the UK charts, at number 4, like the big charts, the proper charts?
I'm very excited because the official Music Week pop chart, which is like the industry standard that everyone goes by now, she's entered the top 10, and it's actually at number 6. It's actually at number 6.
Number 6, right.
And I'm so over the moon, so's Rosala, and so's the whole team that has got behind this single. You know, it's a big comeback single for Rosala.
Yeah.
It's amazing to actually co-write with Rosala. Obviously, she started out as one of my idols.
Me
when
too.
I was a teenager. And then, like yourself, through my singing career, I ended up singing on the same shows as a lot of my, you know, childhood idols.
Yeah.
We became friendly. But I half wrote the song with her almost as a fan. And that's how I made it autobiographical. You know, so many quote the first chapter of my book. But if you want to read the novel, then come take a look. Because everybody knows everybody's free album. Everybody knows Rosala from being a teenager. And there's a lot more that she's got to offer. And so, yeah, the novel seems to have taken a next chapter with Turn on the Light.
I really can't wait to, you know, for an album to kind of come out of this, because, you know, I was a fan of Rosala's in the 90s. When I was living in London in the 90s, I went to Jeremy Joseph's place on Charing Cross Road, and
That's right.
and he introduced me to her briefly, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the girl that sang "Faith in the Power of Love," which is one of my all-time favorite songs. And it's kind of weird to like you say, to kind of go from being a fan. I mean, I'm still a fan, but to actually knowing her, it's kind of a weird thing, don't you think?
With legendary songs, you know, the 90s was a unique period in music, and those legendary club classics, you know, there's a handful of them, aren't there? Like, you know, Robin S., Show Me Love, like Baby D, Let Me Be Your Fantasy.
Right.
There's you know, maybe 10 that really, really stand out from that 90s club scene. But to me, Rosala paved the way for that. In 1990, I remember hearing her first, which was actually the year that I came out.
Right.
And I just remember that the lyric fitted the style of music, that whole rave scene. And she was the least likely person to be the queen of the rave scene.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
But,
Well, with her background, you know, she's African, and I didn't realize this. Even when I met her at Jeremy Joseph's club, I didn't realize she was South African, and she was just this young, kind of fresh, shy artist. But then when she opened her mouth, she was just like, you know, I was blown away. I want to move on. I could really talk about Rosala all night, because, you know, I really am a fan. So you were in Hollywood recently. Tell us a bit about that and what it was for.
Say that again, Xander. Sorry, I just got that feedback.
We're losing you again, Jason. We're getting so much feedback.
Can you hear me now?
We're getting lots of feedback. Let's close the call and try it again, because I think.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I should call you straight back.
No problem. So for those of you that haven't heard of Rosala, she was very big in the United States in the 90s. A lot of her songs were big hits over there. Too. I was just saying about how big Rosala is in the United States too.
Yeah, she's a Billboard artist, isn't she?
Yeah.
Even her previous singles before, you know, we've written this comeback song from a few years ago. Most of her songs have actually entered the Billboard chart in America, and she's got a huge following in the States.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It sounds a little bit better. So you were in Hollywood recently. Tell us what that was about, and what you got up to while you was there. But keep it clean, because this is a family show.
Well, my whole life is very clean at the moment, because I've mistakenly become celibate, but not on purpose.
Right.
So every story is clean at the moment.
Good.
I did have an amazing time, actually, in America. And it sort of stemmed from going to New York last year for Pride, and meeting up with a lovely friend, Eileen, who has now become my PR agent. And she's
Brilliant.
Now, she's really opened a whole new world up for me in America. And it was just, the universe seemed to send something really good timing. My friend Ollie, who is the first UK artist to actually have a K-pop style single out. K-pop is based in Korea, and it's the biggest music genre in the world now because of bands like BTS. And Ollie basically has been influenced by this, and has ended up recording a song with us at the studio, which is in K-pop style. And it went sort of viral, and his story went viral. And then he was approached by a reality TV company in the States, and they asked if he'd come over and film a reality show.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. And then he asked me, would I be his BFF on the reality show? We had to dress the same, etc., etc. And the timing of it was amazing because it was the same week as the Oscars.
Oh,
and
wow.
Eileen, my PR, and the other people from the record company that I'll tell you about in a minute, were all going to the pre-Oscars party. So they invited myself and Ollie, and we went on the red carpet and had an absolutely amazing
Oh, gosh,
experience.
I hate you. I wish I'd have been there.
Well, you know, Ollie's great with PR and press and everything like that. He's really part of the new generation of celebrities. And as the paparazzi were taking photos of us, he grabbed me and kissed me. And I wouldn't have ever planned it. And the press went absolutely mad for it. Like, and the next day it was in the Hollywood Digest and different publications because we had the guts, I suppose, to do a gay kiss on the Oscars red carpet.
So do you think it kind of, you know, there is this kind of debate right now where kind of like, you know, gay stars are not that kind of unusual anymore. Do you know what I mean?
It's not unusual, but I still think in America it's a very two-tier society, well, you know.
Yeah.
And it still is shocking for people in public to see two boys kissing.
Right.
I still think, even in LA, it's very, you know, laid back, easygoing, and everybody's an actor or a singer or whatever. It still took people by surprise when in public we kissed.
Right. I mean, personally, I don't want to see anyone kissing in public. You know, save it for the bedroom like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean,
But I'm not.
yeah, I agree
I'm
with
not
you.
shocked either. I'm not shocked by a gay couple kissing or a straight couple kissing. I don't go, oh my God, you know. But I kind of think that I think people are more interested in your product now than who you sleep with. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you say that, but oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You say that, but as I say, Ollie's part of the new generation of celebrities. I was just talking about it with my friend, actually, just before we went on air. And I'm old school like you. I'm about the product. I'm about the music.
Yeah.
I'm about the performance. You know, that's what's important to me. But funny enough, the next generation seem to want to follow more a reality star. They want to know the ins and outs of their lives. They want to know who they're kissing. They want to know what makeup they're wearing. It's almost like you become their personal celebrity, that they know everything, the ins and outs.
Yeah.
And the product seems to become the least important thing in their celebrity life. I hate to say it.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
I have to kind of move on a bit because
sorry,
we are time bound. No, you know I could talk to you all night, but there's so much I want to get in. So I want you to tell us a little bit about. I don't know if I was supposed to share this, but you know I'm kind of very excited for you about your deal, your USA recording contract. So tell us a little bit about that and how that came about, and when you're going to be releasing some music in America.
Well, it is very exciting. I actually never expected to be releasing any real Jason Prince solo music again. I've been concentrating on songwriting and production and different things, as you know. And this opportunity seemed to be sent to me from the universe, and but via Eileen, who became a very good friend of mine.
Right.
And she started doing PR for Trax Records, which is the first ever house music label from Chicago, where house music actually started its life. So it's a huge cult following it's had, really, with dance music. And I'm just very, very lucky that they listened to quite a few of my tracks that I'd written for other people, including the Love Is the Only Law that I wrote for the 50 Years Legal a couple of years ago.
Right.
And they really liked everything. But the artist that they liked the most was me. And
wow.
I was really blown away because I was presenting all the other people that we're working with, or people that I was writing songs with, thinking that they'd want to do a Klubkidz track featuring another artist. But they actually decided that the track that they like the most is one of mine. So they signed me for a 2-single deal with album option.
Wow.
And I'm just over the moon.
That's kind of unusual nowadays because, you know, mostly they're wanting. You're very lucky to get a single deal, never mind a 2 single deal with an album. Now, it just occurred to me, I saw something the other day because we're used to a particular style from you. And I saw you singing. I can't even remember what the song was, but it was an event you were singing at, and it was so out of what we're used to for you. So are you becoming a little bit more versatile musically as a response to this?
Yeah, I certainly am, because I think that I was looking actually online the other day, because obviously most of my music was released either on vinyl or CD back in the day with Almighty Records or Clone and the other energy labels I was working with. But of course that style now has really gone out of vogue. And if I'm going to have a chance to relaunch myself in America as an artist, I think I need to move myself forward to you know, the next generation. And yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone, but that's a good thing. It's no point in, you know, 20 years later having another record deal, but doing exactly what I did 20 years ago, but it being old-fashioned. So this is another opportunity for me. So I need to grab it with both hands and embrace it and be part of the modern style.
I totally agree. You know, when we've talked about things off air, some things that are kind of possibly coming up for me, and they've said to me things like, you know, if we wanted you to, would you wear a suit for this gig? Would you cut your hair? Would you do this? Would you do that? I mean, if they're going to pay you like a big check, you know, you'll consider kind of a lot more, because I think commerciality changes, doesn't it? And I think that when people are prepared to pay you to kind of do it a little differently, then it's always something you need to consider, isn't it?
Not just the payment even, but if they're experts in their field. I mean, you know, sometimes because I didn't think I was going to be an artist again at this stage and record another album, I almost became a little out of touch with what the modern styling is.
Right.
If I admit it, because I've been quite retro on my gigs and doing my whole, you know, back catalogue of high energy or 80s covers and stuff. So I've always kind of got away with being retro, should we say. So, you know, you have to take other people's advice that are in, you know, the know of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And more sort of on the pulse.
And I think this is why we have like stylists and advisors and those kinds of things. I mean, it might not always be what we want. You know, I'm working with someone now that's, you know, kind of looking to push my radio career on. And you know, half of the things that they've said I never even kind of thought of. But I definitely think that all of these things are worth considering, you know, kind of in order to push you on to that next level.
Having an external input, a new external input into
right.
I love it. That's why I love co-writing and co-producing, because every time you write with someone different or a different artist, you bring something else out in yourself. You
absolutely do. I'm really sorry to stop you, but our next guest is in the green room, as it were. So tell people where they can find you, Jason, and find out a bit more about what you're doing.
Well, obviously, I'm now on Instagram, because everyone's on Instagram in America. So at Jason Prince DJ. I've got my website, jasonprinceofficial.com. And my first single in America is going to come out at the end of next month, so look out for that. And yeah, Turn on the Light by Rosala is out now.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Jason will be coming to plug his music here, because as I said, he's not just a guest, he is like, you know, one of the X-Rad Xander family. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, live from London, Jason, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon.
Oh, Xander, great to be back, darling. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot. Take care. They will, I hope they will call right back. And while they do, says my live video was interrupted. Yes, I'm guessing Mark Zuckerberg and his wife are having a fight again. Guest is CV Berton. He's the co-host of Freedom on Deck, CBS 94.9 FM News, now New York, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Welcome back to the show, CV. How is the world with you?
Well, it's an honor to be asked back. I mean, thank you very much. It's always interesting and fun to be on.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Please tell me it's freezing cold in New York, because we had 62 degrees today, and usually when it's really warm here, it's like cold in New York. So please tell me it was like -5 or something.
No, it was like 50 degrees. It was like 50 degrees, but gray, kind of chilly.
Well, I feel a little bit better. That I shouldn't feel that way, really. My beloved New York, but it's always nice to be somewhere that's a little warmer than New York if you can't be in New York. So we're gonna jump right in with our first story, if I can get the teleprompter to work. So Jussie Smollett, who hired thugs to beat him up in a bid to boost his career, faced 16 felony counts of disorderly conduct for filing a false police report. Now, with the assistance of Mr. Michael Obama, his aunt Camilla Harris, or both, the charges were dropped on Tuesday during an emergency court appearance. But now he's been ordered to pay for the time the police officer spent investigating the case and slapped with a bill of $130,000. And the Trump administration have actually requested this privilege be looked into. Now, allegedly, Smollett has been handed the demand letter from the police, who repeated their accusations against him. Mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, quite out of character, claimed that he had been favored because of his celebrity status. Criminals everywhere are requesting a change of a venue to Chicago. So first of all, CV, what do you make of this? And isn't this indicative that if you're famous, you can basically do what the hell you please?
Yeah, it's Barack Obama's new stand-down order. You know, Obama was the stand-down president. You know, he was always saying, stand down.
Yeah.
Stand down against ISIS. Stand down in, where were those riots that took place? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, in Israel. He even said it about Israel. He said if Palestinians were attacked, that they should stand, if Israelis were attacked, they should stand it down to Palestinians. And, you know, it's his middle name, basically. It's Hussein Stand Down Obama.
Yep. He loved that. He loved to give the stand-down order. But, yeah, this sends a signal that, hey, anybody who wants to stage a false flag event that makes Trump supporters, I say believers, achievers, and patriots now, because I think Trump supporters doesn't quite fit the bill.
No.
I think they have a real animosity towards believers, achievers, and patriots. I think that's the thing. They want to wipe us out.
I'm not even sure if Republican even fits the bill anymore, because the way I feel about, you know, I actually became a Republican for Donald Trump. I have to say, you know, I considered myself to be a libertarian, and now with the way that they've treated Donald Trump, you know, we'll talk about that more a little later on in the segment, but I'm not sure I want to be associated with the Republicans anymore.
I don't know. I think the Republican Party, the people, the grassroots people who elected Donald Trump, they are totally 100% pro-Trump.
Right.
They're generally Christians, believers, achievers, and patriots. They're all good. It's the politicians in Washington who wear the Republican badge on their sleeve that are the fake, phony frauds, and and it's causing a lot of people like Andrea Kaye and some others that I keep hearing. Let's start a third party. Let's start another party. Let's start another party. There's no need to start another party. All we have to do is just nominate people that are more like us.
Absolutely, and I think that it's a wonderful thing that we get the opportunity every so often to actually get rid of people. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm totally for term limits, and I think that some people have actually been politicians for far too long. And not only do we need fresh blood, we actually need people that are representative of what we want. And currently, I think on even especially on the right, there are people that should not be, you know, rhinos, Republicans in name only, and the way that some of them have even responded to this Jussie Smollett thing. I mean, we expect it from Democrats. You know, Democrats will make excuses, but we don't expect this from Republicans.
Right. But like I said, it's mostly the politicians on the Hill that are giving Republicans a bad name. You know, the real Republicans are you and me and Chet Martin and Brian Bro, and I can name. Well, I don't know that many people, actually. Yeah. I don't get out much.
No, Joe Messina. And I mean, I actually thank God every day for kind of the fact that there were shows like this one and yours out there on the Real Side and even Andrea Kay's show, you know, because otherwise, how would people get the real news? You know, they can't get it from Fox News anymore. I mean, Fox is just Fox has just gone mad. I mean, the fact that it can employ down in Brazil is indicative of exactly where it's at right now. It's not a Republican channel anymore.
Yeah, they started purging Trump supporters from Fox News going way back to Eric Bolling.
Right.
Who was like the first major Trump supporter. And they fired him over trumped-up charges, which I think were totally phony. And then who was next? Then there was Bill O'Reilly. He was a Trump supporter, although he tried to pretend he was in the middle of the road, but he was. And then Judge Janine.
Yeah.
And who are they going to go after next? Jesse Waters?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it'll be Tucker Carlson next. Let's face it. I mean, he's already had his head on the chopping block, you know, as it were, in the past few weeks. So, what do you think? Yeah. What would you ideally like to see happen now with regards to Jussie Smollett? Because I think the case needs to be reopened. You cannot allow someone to commit a crime in the United States and let them get away with it just because they are a celebrity. I got into big trouble on Facebook this week because I suggested it was black privilege, gay privilege, Hollywood privilege, whatever frickin' privilege it is. It should not be happening. We should not have a two-tier judiciary because in America, we're all supposed to be equal. So if you break the law, regardless of who you are, you should be treated the same as everybody else.
Right. Well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert in the law. But I just want him to get the book thrown at him. Whatever the punishment, you know, however the punishment fits the crime, that's what he should get.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, there are precedents for this. There are other people that have done similar things and have gone to jail. And the fact that this guy has walked just because he happens to be a celebrity, in parentheses, is not good enough as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that the Democrats are prepared to turn a blind eye to it and make excuses. Oh, well, he made reparations. You know, he started doing community work. I don't care. If other people have gone to jail for the same thing, then he should have been penalized appropriately.
Yep. I have nothing else to add to that.
Okay, so let's move. Go ahead. Well, let's move on to the. Yeah, I thought you were going to say something. I was waiting for it.
No.
So let's.
I ran out of things to say about Jussie Smollett. I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm bored. I'm bored shistless with Jussie Smollett or whatever, however you say his name. So the report is in, CV, and President Trump has been vindicated, I would say, after nearly a 2-year probe. Mueller concluded that no one in the Trump campaign, including the president, conspired with the Russians when it meddled in the 2016 USA presidential election. I don't know why I went Russian then. AG Barr issued a 4-page summary which stated, while this report does not conclude the president committed a crime, it does not exonerate him either. I don't know what the hell that means. Now, that left it to Barr to determine whether Trump broke the law and obstructed justice. In his letter, Barr said the evidence collected in Mueller's probe was not sufficient to establish that the president committed a criminal obstruction offense. So that's clear vindication for me. If there isn't evidence to say that he did it, he didn't frickin' do it. The president has repeatedly called this a witch hunt. You know, Trump won. It's time for Democrats Democrats to shut the hell up and move past Russia. Now, the media and all his accusers should apologize to him for portraying Trump as a traitor. The media has allowed unproven charges and false accusations to dominate the news landscape for more than 2 years, and it clearly affected the midterms. Will this change the anti-Trump rhetoric and narrative in the United States of America?
No, they'll just jump to another fake, false narrative. They always do. You know, it wasn't just the Russia hoax. I mean, they were going after him for every little minor thing. I mean, it was just a couple of weeks ago. He was being cornered and asked about John McCain because it came out in an article that, or in testimony that John McCain passed the dossier to the FBI. And everybody's like asking Trump about it. What about McCain? What about McCain? It's like, look, I never liked the guy. What? You talked about John McCain? Yes, because you're asking him about it. What do you want him to say?
Exactly. I mean, who is John McCain? God? I thought it was particularly funny that Meghan Hunchback McCain was blubbing again on The View. How dare he mention my father? Well, they asked him about your father. That's why he mentioned your father. And the concern for me is, I'm all for respecting people who have died, but don't ask me to say that people who have died are something that they weren't. That guy wasn't a patriot. What he did to Donald Trump was not patriotic. It was not, I was so un-American. And the thing is, at the end of the day, he wasn't a good Republican. He wasn't even a good American.
I know. And, the Bill Clinton doctrine of the ends justify the means really sums it up, because the Democrats will fight unfairly no matter what. They don't care. They don't have any conscience about it as long as they win. It's like getting into a boxing match with somebody and you have your gloves on and everything, and they whip out a chair and bash you over the head with it.
Yeah.
And then the referee, who is the media, blames you for him picking up the chair and hitting you on the head with it. You get the other one who gets penalized for it. It doesn't make any sense. It's patently unfair the way they fight, and it's really, it puts us in a hard position, because how do we be above that and fight fairly when they're not fighting fairly? It really puts us in a strange position.
I'm tired. I'm actually really tired of being fair about these things. The thing is, at the end of the day, I would be one of the first people marching up there to asking for Donald Trump to be impeached if I felt that he'd colluded with the Russians to win the American election. I never believed he did. Trump wasn't my first choice. But the moment that it was confirmed that he was the candidate, I got behind him 200%. And the thing is that, a lot of stupid people can't get over the fact that his character on TV was a certain way. That was a character that he played. And imperatively, what Americans need to do now with regards to Donald Trump is assess him on his achievements as president. I don't care what he did before he was president. I don't care who he slept with. I don't care what he said. I mean, if you heard me talking about certain subjects, you would maybe be surprised about those things. But the thing is that doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the way I work as a broadcaster. And none of these things that people are still accusing Donald Trump of affect the way he does his job as the president. He's doing an absolutely fabulous job, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Let him get on with this job. He's been vindicated. But now what I want to happen is because the thing is that he promised us he was going to appoint a special prosecutor for Hillary Clinton. He couldn't do that while he was being investigated. Now this is over. Do you see that as something that is possibly going to happen?
I didn't get the question.
Do you think that Donald Trump will now appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton?
No, because I don't think we need a special prosecutor. We have the DOJ already. We pretty much have all the evidence. Really what we need is, to indict them, bring them up on charges. So I don't think we need a special prosecutor. I think we just need the DOJ to bring charges.
Right.
But again, I'm not a lawyer. And I want to touch on something else that you said earlier.
Sure.
about Donald Trump, about what he was before he became a presidential nominee.
Right.
He walked the walk of conservatism and patriotism. He didn't just talk about it. He was a doer. He was an achiever. He lived the American dream, and he hit it out of the park because he slept maybe only 4 or 5 hours a night. He would get up early, and he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't do drugs. He was straight as an arrow. All right, so he liked women. Big deal.
Yeah.
I like women. But the thing is, he is not just like a politician or another lawyer running for a position.
No.
He was actually a builder, and he reminds me a lot of the characters from the Ayn Rand novels. The people who just never were tireless, worked really hard, and won. And that's exactly how he won the presidency. It wasn't Russia. He went to, like, towards the end especially, he was going to like 3 rallies a day. I think the last day of the campaign, he went to 4 rallies, and he got to Michigan at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the place was still packed with over 10,000 people. And they had to have Ted Nugent play guitar for the longest period of time while everybody waited patiently for Trump to land in his Trump plane.
Yeah, I caught quite a bit of that yesterday. That was very impressive. I was kind of, sat watching, kind of cheering. We are out of time, unfortunately, CV, but tell people where they can find you and see a bit more with what you're doing.
Please go to freedomondeck.com. If you don't, you'll never know what's really there. And you'll be living your life in ignorance.
Absolutely.
We just did a podcast last night, which was really great, with Thomas S. Schmitz. And Chet just wrote another article, and that's on the opinions page.
Brilliant.
It's really filling up. Yeah, the website's really coming along.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You can check CV out along with Chet and Brian on freedomondeck.com. I'll be joining them this Sunday. Make sure you go check them out. Thanks so much, CV. Have a brilliant weekend, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Take care. We are out of time, guys. Stick around and do make sure you join us on Freedom on Deck. I will be there. Please click share before you go. Not share, but share. Share the show. Show some love. Share the show. I will be back with you next week. Same time, same place. From May, we will be back with you 5 nights a week. I really do love you all. Thanks for everybody involved in today's show. Thanks to Chet for calling in. Thanks to CV Berton from Freedom on Deck. And thanks to Jason Prince. I love you all. I really do. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the bound to change when it was found. Sugar